Good evening and welcome to Edessa, the Dark Crusade. Tonight we focus on Madeline's haven, what she has made her haven for the time being. She is currently, she's just done talking with a young woman that she's been keeping around. Not too many people know where this person came from, but Madeline, it's really irrelevant at this point. She's passing on lessons to this person, but now she's instructed this person to go out and attain some things, as she does normally. Right now, Madeline has just sat down with a book in her impromptu study, relatively quiet room, and she will just sit there and read.
In another corner of the merchant's district, Fabio Orsini prepares for a night of wandering. He needs to clear his thoughts, so he dons his cloak, his long black cloak, and puts his hood up. He puts his thick pair of leather gloves on to hide the scars from last night, the healing wounds, and leaving the rose, his shadow being a lot more lively than usual, probably reflecting his ill temper. He walks through the back alleys of the merchants' district, reaching first and foremost the haven of Sister Madeline. He walks to the door. It's been a while, been a couple of years since he last visited her in her haven, and knocks on the door.
It will take a couple of moments. Madeline will just put her book down and she will go over. And she will just very carefully open the door and just say, "Hello? Brother, please, come in."
Hello, sister. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
No. I was merely reading a bit. What brings you here?
Can't I pay you a visit from time to time just to see if you're all right, sister?
I suppose so. But
I
know you far too well. You must have something that you will want to talk about specifically.
was expecting to find you training your new pupil.
No, not tonight. Well, I have more than one, but
You know
she
who
has
I'm.
just left, but that is of no concern.
You know who I'm talking about, sister. Don't try to hide it. So I do believe that our primogen's decision is to your liking, is it not?
Since he had to be involved, I suppose so. I just saw the whole thing really as a bit of a distraction when we have so much more pressing priorities to tend to. But yes, he was involved, and he, instead of having weeks of deliberations of what we should do, he decided quite quickly, and the matter is dealt with.
I'm curious to see how it would reflect on you, sister, if something like that happens again. now that you're involved as well. Unnecessarily, I might add.
Well, I will endeavor to teach this young one. If she, if she, however, cannot be taught by me, I will insist that she is not worthy of the blood. It is that simple.
She doesn't concern me as much as her mother does, her sire does. So
I have
protective
gathered
of
as
her.
much.
So protective of her. And as you probably observed as well, the child is unnaturally scared of her and unnaturally obedient.
Well, she is very young, and they have just been through something rather upsetting.
I've noticed this ever since they first visited me. The fact that we are in this situation now doesn't change much.
And you would say that this is s- a situation you have never seen before with any child or an sire? I have seen it quite a few times.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of power-hungry sires wishing to make better versions of themselves out of their children and failing miserably each time. The words of Father Louis still ring in my head, sister. The fact that the child might be of unsound mind. The only way she could hide it would be through the intervention of her sire.
Do you know what he said to me the first time I really met him? Truly met him?
I'm curious.
When he truly revealed himself to me, he said that he would like to meet and talk with others who were against the church. He was convinced that he was a monster, a creature of depravity. But one thing he said, our cooperation, should one occur, would never be on the behest, would never be on the cost of him. If it was not beneficial to him, he would not help me or anyone else. An honest person, but also potentially a very dangerous person. I see him as a person who will do quite a few things to manipulate people. And, well, he manipulated this young one. Perhaps he has manipulated you too.
Every one of us, sister, whether we are honest with each other or not, have the same goals in mind. The fact that this Father Louis wears his heart on his sleeve makes
And
it
yet you
even
trust
easier.
his word over might be a day young unit, but you trust him over one of our clan. That is a rare thing for you.
To trust him because he had the decency of not hiding in front of me, of coming to my haven out of his own accord, and out of his own accord, disarming himself. Yet this Lady Alexandris, from the moment I laid eyes on her, I didn't like her. I've seen her type of eagerness, her type of hunger for power, but usually it dims after you are no longer a neonate. To see such eagerness and such misguided efforts in an ancilli is troubling, to say the least. The fact that she managed to convince both you and Ulrich to choose her method over mine and her reasoning over mine
Well,
raises some questions.
she negotiated. That is the difference. She did not just say words. She did not just bring accusations. She obviously made some sort of arrangement with Ulrich that he gains of. And I gain that I have influence over this young one. So she negotiated. What exactly have you gotten out of this Father Louis for all of this?
I've gotten information that my clan decided not to share with me, information about my clan, and I paid for nothing in return. So I consider it a fair trade. The fact that he told me this rumor, and this rumor proved true, makes me wonder about his intentions. The fact that Ulrich decided to hide this from us.
No doubt part of the deal he made with Lady Alexandris.
My sister, this discussion has gone on long enough. The fact that you rallied Ulrich against me and against my reasoning, and decided that you trust Lady Alexandris' judgment over mine, though I prove myself time and time again, and we've known each other for the best part of a century, makes me ask who's the true manipulator in this whole story. Our enemies use interesting ways to try and create tensions between us. The fact that this newcomer came exactly when the three of us came back makes me curious. Why would she even try?
That is a good question. But it is also a question that you are more likely to find the answer of if you can speak with her in cordial ways, be her friend, and have her confide in you. It is not something you will find the answer to if you are her enemy.
I will never speak cordially to her, sister. Let's make this clear. She is an idealistic, power-hungry, attention-seeking, neonate in my eyes. Frankly, yes, she has a few more years under her belt, but she still speaks like a neonate and thinks like a neonate. The fact that the three of us managed to hold the city together while she was enjoying the good life back in Byzantium, back in Greece, should make her ponder. Even though she wants to admit it or not, we are her betters and our word holds more sway.
Even if that is true, what exactly would you flaunt this in her face? Would you say this to her? Would you make her grovel for you? I really do not see the point. I might agree with you in your presumptions about her, but what exactly is to come of this hostility? What betterment for the three of us, for yourself, or for me, or for Ulrich, is going to come of this?
It's going to serve the clan. You can't have power-hungry buffoons with incompetent fledglings whose minds are not their own be going around and calling themselves La Sombra. The fact that she managed to levy Ulrich's opinion and get his protection makes me curious about her other talents. The fact that you decided to stick with Ulrich like you have been doing since we've known each other, even though it's no matter, it's not a wandering matter, it is a matter for concern. If this Lady Alexandris wishes to turn you and Ulrich against me, I might have a word with her in not so friendly terms. Should I wish my will imposed through force and call upon my status and my virtues and my merits in this city, she would have been staked and the child taken from her without giving her a right to appeal. You know, as well as I do, that I do not like the pompousness of titles and asking people higher in status to solve our problems for us.
And yet you did.
Consider it courtesy towards you and Ulrich. And consider it courtesy to another one that even though I'm not proud of, still has the right to call herself La Sombra. The fact that she, wishing to protect her child, tried to enumerate my faults and my problems is the oldest trick in the book. When someone argues with you.
She was not attacking you, she was defending herself from accusations.
By enumerating what I have done wrong and by making a case that she saved the honor of the clan that I almost sullied by talking with the Sumizi on a private matter.
Honestly, I understand that you are upset at the outcome and do not trust her. I gathered as much, but honestly, what else is there to discuss? We disagree with how this should be handled, and yet you keep bringing up this matter of how much you distrust her. I understand you distrust her. So, what would we? What else? Do you want me to do something, or is
Yes,
there
I want. Yes, sister, I want you to tell me, why did you trust her judgment more than you did mine? Have I not served under you when you were prince, when you were baron and Ulrich left? Have I not been faithful to the clan? Have I not proven my worth to be set
Yes.
aside by a newcomer?
Who said I trusted her judgment over yours?
The fact that you decided to side with her.
I looked at the situation and decided on the most appropriate and easiest solution that would alleviate the problem, and that was to teach her myself.
Yes,
I did not see it as a solution to go to the highest echelons of this city to invoke a right that is sketchy at best, according to all of the traditions, taking a sire away from her child. I'd rather have them together as they are now, help her steer this new neonatal cause,
And should this
instead of infighting and a long prolonged battle between the two of you and maybe others.
and what would you have us do, sister? When, and I mark my words, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when it happens again, because it will. Celine is too drunk for power and too interested on her own endeavors to take proper care of that neonate.
Well, when, if it happens again, depending on your perspective, depending on what happens, I mean, she could be involved in something, but if it is shown quite openly that she is openly attacked, I do not see that as a fault of her own. But if she is in the fault and against the clan's honor, I will say that I have tried to teach this young one, but I am unable, and I would have to say that her blood is forfeit.
And she is to be destroyed?
That would be the meaning of it, yes. Well, this of course depends on the infraction, the crime committed.
Well, sister, what happens to the tradition of the accounting then? Isn't a sire responsible for whatever their fledgling does until they are released?
True.
Technically, the fault should be split, though not exactly down the middle between Celine and yourself.
I do not take part in the accounting. But it is, if the fault is completely hers, then the fault is Celine. And then I would propose, instead of destruction, a blood bond to a more responsible person.
Celine is not to be trusted with the care of a fledgling.
I was not talking about Irene being blood bond.
You'd have Celine lose face and status instead of doing something about the child?
You are correct, brother. Accounting would make it her fault.
Yes, but still, the child is still her own.
So now you would say that it is the tradition of accounting is in full effect, yet the child is her own and answers to no one but herself.
No, I say that the tradition of accounting is in effect, that the sire should be punished, but there's still the matter of what we do with the fledgling.
Yeah, that is not my decision. If it was my decision, depending again on what has transpired, if it is merely talking to someone that you should not have, that might be less so, but if it is breaching the silence, encroaching on domain, or other more serious infractions, right? For this neonate, a full platform, exile, or death.
Fair enough, sister.
Again, this decision will not be mine, but that would be my judgment.
Yet surprisingly, this whole judgment ended up with the solution you proposed.
You by now should know more than enough about me to know why I did it.
Yes, you're always the peacemaker.
No, 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 no. That was not exactly what I thought about. But tutoring, teaching is a very, very important thing for me. As studying our more exotic gifts are yours, your focus in this existence. Teaching is one of a few of mine. That is why I took this decision as well.
If you wish to challenge yourself with an unworthy student, sister, it is well within your right to do so.
Oh, no. Those who need lessons, I will teach. I will not refuse them.
I see. This matter still troubles me, sister. But still, have you heard the recent rumors? Apparently, from what child, my child told me, there is a heathen, a hag in the slums, and she's robbing the poor folk of their money. She has apparently the ability to don a mask where she might be really beautiful, and she promises people a safe home. But apparently she's a heathen. She's a heathen that might be one of ours. If she is, not unlike this Lady of Wrath that you mentioned, we might need to investigate this as well.
Oh, I have done quite enough investigation for this month, these few days. That meeting was unnerving. Do we have any indications as to when you say one of us, would that be one of our clan or what?
Saying one of us as in a Canaanite or a ghoul, but most likely a Canaanite. Don't have indications of a clan, so it might be anyone. Could maybe she is not Canaanite at all. Maybe she's a child of Mary, a local, sired for her abilities and her knowledge of the city. You can never know. I thought you might have to be you should be made aware of this because I don't hide things that interest the clan from the other members.
Well, I thank you for this, and I will look into it.
Have you found out more about this Lady of Wrath by any chance?
No, but soon I'm quite sure I will.
I see. And how is your Toreador friend?
I should well. Her benefactor have offered to share certain information about what just might be He seemed to what, recognize.
Yes, I do remember you have told me, sister.
So it will reduce in Blue Note, but knowledge should never be. Knowledge should never be shunned. It should always be pursued.
Hmm. You are preaching to the choir, sister. I am fully aware of the price of knowledge. Well then, sister, unless you wish to discuss anything else, I shall take my leave. I wish to take a long walk around the city.
Please,
It's been so long.
do not let me keep you. But there is one question though. You said that this person's hag, uh, she is frequenting the slums, the South Wall, or the Arabs now?
Apparently, all I know is that she's in the slum. Don't know exactly where. We've got an evil witch on our hands. That's all the rumor goes.
Fair enough. Are you going to look into it yourself, or are there other people already occupied with this?
I don't know. The rumor might have spread to others. If I heard it, since I heard it from Osam, I'm expecting the other gangs know. Might be a rumor going through the underworld. So others might know as well.
Do pass on my greetings towards them. It has been quite some time.
Yes. But my children have been pretty busy. Don't send them on errands as much as I used to. They have their own lives now.
Indeed. Well, brother. She gets up and she just, please allow me to get you out, bring you out. What is it? See you off. There it is. Allow me to see you off.
And Orsini puts his hood back on. And as he exits the street, the recently relit torches are engulfed by his shadow again and go off without any effort. Have a good night, sister. And please do me the favor of not forgetting who your friends are
I never do.
again. And as he says that, he tugs his hood, pulls his hood over his head to better hide his face, and sticks his gloved hands within his cloak and begins to wander off.
Madeline closes the door and she sits there and contemplates this meeting for a couple of moments before returning to her book. Her and her brother they've never agreed on everything. They do tend to solve problems quite differently, but this is yet another thing that's probably going to be worked out in time. But as for now, the scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.